few days ago, I published a video of a CNC machine, which I will be using in a future project, which was also inspired by Albin. And I will put a link down below so you can also check out the original work. So here in Blender, it's quite a simple setup. We have like this one giant block. We have this part that will be cut out. We have this drill head. I'm not even sure if they use this kind of drill head to do CNC machining or milling. Then we have a bunch of lights. We have some backdrops, and it will all look something like this. Of course, right now the playback is not smooth. I set the camera to 200mm with a depth of field of 9.3 right now. I also used only one emitter and nothing else. Then we have one boolean, which is parented to a Bezier circle right here. I also parented the drill head to it. So if we select everything that is parented to the circle, which is moving alongside the shape it will cut out, activate boolean shape so you can see it as well. It's basically a cylinder that I shaped so it will look good once it's rendered. All that is happening right now is the boolean is cutting away this piece of mesh here. If we zoom in and just go forward, it's slowly chipping away the edges of the mesh. Move it a bit around so you can see. I just position it so the camera can barely see it. And once we play it, it looks like it's actually cutting away some material. Then for the emitter itself, I change it just to a disc with a tiny radius pointing roughly towards the camera. Where's the camera? Can't see the camera. There. So it's kind of pointing in the direction, but not really. At the same time, I also angle it to 14 degrees, so not all the particles are coming out in this kind of straight line. I left everything at the default values, birth rate 1000, speed 1.5 meter per second. The only thing I changed is the lifespan to 30 frames because we don't need to see all the particles there. As for the stuff that is flying towards us, I would like to take credit for it, but I cannot. It's basically a straight ripoff from Albin, so sorry and thank you. Down in the link, you can go onto his LinkedIn. There you can find another link from Albin, and there you can find also the blend file he was using. And in there, he had this kind of generator for these spirals, which I really like. So all of this, I mean, we don't need the beginning, only need the stuff that he's instancing. So right now, he's instancing a spiral that is changing its rotation every second. Then he multiplied it by 5 and changed the value again. So you have a random rotation per spiral. All of that is combined with a random scale. Let's maybe have a look at each of the components. So you have a random spiral or a spiral, then you instance those onto the different points. In our case, we will instance them to the emitter from NeXus. And afterwards, you have different kind of settings like the set curve tilt, again with a random value. And then you convert the curve into a mesh. Then you have a bunch of transforms on the mesh itself. What does this do? Just making everything a bit flatter and not so big. Turn this one off. Go back to the emitter of NeXus. All that is happening is you get this base file from NeXus the moment you click on create point clone. Then we take the stuff from Albin. Thanks again. I straight up copied it, pasted it inside here. So this is the part that is creating the spiral and changing the rotation and scale per second. Then I added another scale instances so I can make the scrapings or the shavings a bit smaller. Then I wanted to give them another rotation, just a random value. Then we have the set curve tilt, random value, everything from Albin again. We have the curve to mesh again from Albin, which we then plug into a set material, which is basically also from Blend Kit, I believe. It's just aluminum. We see it, maybe turn off the depth of field for now. Yeah, there you go. It doesn't look pleasant if you turn off depth of field, but once you turn it on, it looks realistic enough. So let's go ahead and recreate the scene from scratch, just to quickly show you my workflow and how you can build it up for yourself. So right now in Blender with a new scene, just drop in a cube and then subdivide it a bunch of times, maybe like that. Then go ahead and select the inner edges. I'm just going to leave out 2 of those lines as a reference. Then right click, loop tools. If you don't have this activated, I think you need to go to the preferences, add-ons or the extensions and then activate a circle, and then can change the radius to make it a bit bigger, I think, though it doesn't really make a difference. Except then before we subdivide, select all of it, E, Z and just extrude it up. And we can subdivide this whole thing, maybe 2 times, shade smooth. And we're going to add 1 loop cut down here. And for the top one, what we can do is select all of it, go to item and increase this value here. So now we have this kind of sharp edge on top of there. We turn off this for now. And then what we can do, or what I did, is just select some random parts here along the edges here. So press Ctrl D, then P, and separate this selection. Then move this one up a tiny bit, and in edit mode, select everything, E, extrude everything in the Z direction. Try to align on the same height. We're going to increase the same value again. If you want, you can do it in the bottom as well. Try to select everything, increase the value, go back. I also do not like that this is a bit too far out, so we can grab it, maybe proportional editing, and move it closer to the circle. If you want, you can do the same thing on this side as well. G, Y, move it a bit closer. What we need now is also an object that will cut away from this big block. And I used a cylinder, edit mode, scale it down and move it roughly in place. A little bit more, scale it up, select the block, add a boolean and select your cylinder. And this cylinder, we can hide it for now, or not hide, but change the display to bounce. And right now we are cutting away as we move along. Then if you have something already there, you can use a drill bit, but I'm just going to use a random drill from BlendKit. I think I used this one from Polyhaven. Then we are just going to quickly select everything, focus on it, select everything, deselect this part, and then delete everything else. Right now we only have this kind of drill bit, which I will put up here. And that's why I cannot move it. Everything is locked. Did I lock it or was it locked already? Anyway, then we move it up here. Edit mode, select everything, scale it up without proportional editing by say 10, move it up. Let's add also a camera so we can angle everything, so we do not waste time on building something that will not be seen. Increase this to whatever you like. I'm just going to use 200mm. The walk navigation function, I think it's really underutilized. I don't see many people using it. And let's black out everything else that we do not want to see. Add a quick sky, or whatever HDRI you have, so we can see what's going on. This we need to move a bit further down, a bit more inside, but once we add the depth of field, it should be going away. Select the focus, hide the boolean object for now, and let's focus on this drill bit here. I'm just going to set up a basic metallic shader, nothing fancy. Link this there, link material. Instead of the HDRI, I'm just going to use some lights using the light wrangler add-on. One there, one in the background, and maybe one here on the side as well. This is our base scene, and to make this one move along the curve, I'm just going to select the edges here, press Ctrl D, P to separate, and then you just have this kind of circle shape right now. Right now we are going to align the drill bit so it's kind of touching, and I think it's already touching. So select this, select the curve or the circle we just extracted, which was I think cube B. Ctrl P, parent it, change this to 45 frames at 30 frames per second. And right now if you move the curve or the cube, drill bit should move along with it. Try to align it as close as possible to the part that's being chipped away. Go to 0, not 1, press I, go to the back, and then just move the circle a little bit further, like maybe here. Also, maybe I should name my stuff. So select your boolean object or a cylinder and parent this as well to this kind of curve. So we're chipping away as we move along. And as you can see, towards the end, we're still seeing a bit that is being left out. So select your boolean object, the cylinder, and just grab these parts here and move them out. So they don't come back once we're finished with the animation. Look at this right now. How does this look rendered? We're chipping away some stuff as we go along. The drill bit, which I also learned from one of Albin's files, select this one, press I for select the drill bit. We want it to rotate along the Z axis. We're going to add a single keyframe. Go to the graph editor, select the Z rotation. On the modifier generator, just add the first one, like the extended polynomial. Right now, our drill bit should be moving along by itself without adding any more keyframes. And then you can change the speed of it by increasing this or by decreasing it. Let's put it to 0.05, moving slowly. I think 1 is a good starting point. Make sure to save, because Blender liked to crash on me lately. And we can also activate some motion blur, so we can see we can't see the drill bit spinning around. And then once we have all of that, it is time to activate and use NeXus, which will be quite simple and quite quick. We're just going to add an emitter, change the shape to a disk, move it to roughly somewhere here, not like that. Select the emitter, move it up. Where's the camera? We're going to rotate it towards the camera, maybe tilt it a bit away from it. We'll change the radius to something smaller and increase the radius or the angle. We'll look at spraying particles in a random direction. This one again, we're going to parent to the cube, so it is moving along as we go. We're going to change the lifespan to 30, just to be sure. So we get the particles that are going past the camera, and then we can decide later on what to do. In the emitter itself, on the export, click on create point cloud, go to the geometry node editor, and then for the sake of saving some time, I'm just going to copy the other part I already created and paste it in here. Again, parts or most of the stuff were used from Albin. I only added 2 more nodes to it, which are basically to scale the instance. Paste everything in here, move it down a bit. Okay. Just once again, this is the stuff that was created from NeXus. Then we have the stuff from Albin to create the spiral and change the rotation and scale based on the time. We're going to instance our spiral right now on the created points from NeXus, and we're going to scale it, give it another random rotation, and we're going to evaluate the domain, again a random value, set the curve tilt, and we're going to convert this curve back into a mesh with some transform. We don't really need the radius, I think, but let's just keep it. And then we're going to set it to a material and put it out under the emitter. I do not want to display the particles, do not show the emitter. As you can see, I probably used a different scale in my scene to make it a bit more realistic. I think I use this cube divided by 10, maybe. So right now we can scale it up a bit, 1 maybe. And this seems to be a bit too much or too many particles, I don't know. We're going to set the material as well to, not NeXus, but the same material for the metal as the other part. How does this look? I feel like it's too many particles right now. Reduce it to 100, too little, 500. You can just play around with it. As long as it's moving along with the curve and it's moving along with the drill bit. Let's maybe change the drill bit as well. I have the same material. Everything is just the same material for whatever reason. Right. And then you can see the particles moving towards the camera, and depending on your depth of field and depending on your camera settings, you can make it blurrier or not. Let's make it a bit blurrier. Reduce this to something ridiculous like 1.2 or 0.95. So we're chipping away this edge as we go along. What you can do as well, what was recommended to me, is to change the edge of the material here to something not polished. So it's looking really like something that is being chipped away and not polishing at the same time. So if we choose this, maybe look for brushed metal. I don't know, like the new material, assign it brush metal. I don't know, use this one, and maybe you can use it here as well. New material, brush metal, assign. Have a look at the right orientation. So we're going to, which direction am I facing? View, project from view, and then you have something like this. Of course, you can tweak it around to your liking, but this is basically the whole setup. And then you can play around with different lighting setups, different emitter settings, different drill bit. But all in all, this is the basic setup using just one NX emitter. And of course, if you want, you can cache this to have a smoother playback. But with only a few hundred particles, this is not really needed. Let's crash Blender for now. Give it 500,000 particles while it's rendering. 5 million particles. 50 million particles. yeah. I think I crashed Blender. So thanks for watching and see you in the next one.